Hey there, fam. How's it going? That episode, the Monday Motivation. How's the weekend? You guys learned a lot. You guys grew. You guys just get some great word from your pastors. Yeah, enjoyed yourself. Also took some time off. It's really important to take some time off. That's like a little, before we dive in, I just want to say that this, it's very important to go and just every now and then just separate yourself, get some time, go to the beach, read a book, hang out, go to the movies, just nap, whatever it is. Just take some time for yourself to reboot and reset because it's really important. Yeah, but I want to dive into today's word, and today's word is it's one of my mom's my mom's favorite characters, other than Esther, and it's Ruth. We're talking about the story of Ruth. And the big motivation for this talk today, right, was this song that I heard. And I'm going to translate it a little bit, but in Spanish it goes, El rey está pendiente de ti, which means the king has his eyes on you. He's making sure he knows where you're at. Like he's vigil of you, right? For lack of a better word, pendiente is like when you are observing someone. You have your eye on that thing. You have your eye on that person, on that whatever situation. Yeah. So think about it. When it says right there, El rey está pendiente de ti, that the king is, focused on you. He's worried about you. He cares about you, right? It's talking about the King of Kings, the Lord of the Lord. It's talking about God. It's about, God the Father, the way he loves upon us, right? And it was interesting because that song is a pretty good song. It's not a pretty good song. It's a phenomenal song. But that part, it always hits me like that. Actually, that hits me pretty good, right? It always gets me I can hear it 10 times over in that spot right there, just hits a certain chord. Because it's interesting to think that the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, that he's worried about me. He recognizes me. He has his eye on me. Yeah? And the reason why we go to Ruth is because we talk about Boaz. Everyone talks about, you want to find your Boaz. You want to find your Boaz. And it's, obviously I hope that, you find your Boaz, the male version, the female version, that person that completes you, that's there for you, right? But the reason, right, that for me that stuck out was how Boaz saw Ruth. And it all began with Ruth being faithful. It all began with Ruth understanding and taking care of Naomi, which was her mother-in-law because her husband had passed away. Right? We're not going to get into it, but if you want to go read it, the book of Ruth is phenomenal. Chapter 1 talks about how she loses her husband. Chapter 2 talks about she meets Boaz. Sorry, there you go. Number two. And then it just continues forward for that. But we're going to, really focus on, 2. So if you're taking notes, Ruth, chapter 2, just go through it, yeah? But, to summarize a little bit, right? Ruth is there and Naomi are together. Naomi goes, hey, you're younger than me. Go out there. And this is a guy named Boaz. Go into his field, start, going and working that field close by. Maybe he'll take recognition of you. All right, cool. That's what she's doing, Pump. She's being faithful. She's listening. And Boaz comes back to his property. And he's going around, right? Mind you, Ruth hasn't said anything to him yet. And Boaz goes, who's that? Right? He tells his servant, he tells his confidants, hey, who's that person right there? She stood out, right? Something about her was different. And then they're like, oh, that's Ruth, Naomi's daughter-in-law. The one that her husband passed away, and she brought him over. She's into a whole new land. It's another thing too, right? She went, Ruth came from her place, and she went to a whole different country to go be with Naomi, to be with her family, right? And in that process, it's not the easiest thing ever. Imagine, going and living up and growing in your neighborhood area, and then transporting yourself to a completely different spot, right? Takes some effort, takes some trust, and takes a lot of just you know what? I'm going to trust my leader. I'm going to trust this person. I'm going to honor them. So I'm going to do that for them. And excuse me, when she did that, she positioned herself in a really interesting place. She positioned herself to be blessed. She positioned herself where she needed to be. Now, my question is this. Are you positioning yourself in the right places, right? Or are you out of position? That's a word right there. Actually, I took notes for that. That's another thing that's going down the line. I want to jump into that later, but there's just very, very soon, I have a couple of things I will talk about being out of position, but we'll get into that, another time. Today we're going to focus on Ruth. But if you were to position yourself in the right place, then God can bless you, right? Had she not gone and honored Naomi, she would have not been in the position to meet Boaz and been blessed the way she was, right? So then the Bible says that Boaz tells his servants, hey, I want you to not bother her, right? Because yes, she wasn't part of my normal working team of the women that were working there. But let her come through. Do not rebuke her, right? Then it says, and on top of that, let her drink water from you, and then from the jars that you guys have, and even on top of all that, so it's just compounding. You know what? I want you to leave out sticks for her, because it says that she was gleaning. Gleaning is to pick up after something's been harvested, right? Back in the day, they had these sickles. They'd clean up their harvests, the harvest and the corn and all the wheat and everything. There'd be like some little pieces of wood after. Gleaning is you're picking up the leftovers, right? So she was going and positioning herself not to be put in the front, not to, hey, I want to position, in the row with everybody else to get the most. No, I'm ready just to glean. I'm picking up the scraps. I'll take whatever's left, right? So it says that Boaz told his people, you know what? No. I want you to go and purposely set out thick, packs of, of thickets and of branches and of wheat, and set it out for her so it's easy for her to pick up. So that for me is something big, because even in the position she was in, right, where she was going in there just trying to glean, trying to pick up the leftovers, Boaz was giving her more. She never asked for anything else. She just said, let me just work your field. That's all she said. Let me work your field. She didn't say, give me a handout. She didn't say, make it easy on me. Let me be part, of your work team, of your, of the house you're part of. No. Let me just work the field. All I need is an opportunity. All I need is a position. All I need is a place to be. That's all I'm asking for. And because she went with the heart, one, to serve, and then two, to honor Naomi, which is a big thing that I'm hitting that a lot, because it's important. It's a very big thing that she honored Naomi. By honoring Naomi, she would honor herself. Yeah. So in that whole process, right, she's cleaning, she's picking her stuff up. She then obviously, she goes and she has Boaz. They love each other. They care about each other so much. Boom. The Bible talks about how they went. She became very prosperous and she took care of Naomi. It's great. But what I want to focus on today was how, just as Boaz was paying attention and had his eye on Ruth, that's how God's with you. So in that situation you might be going through, and you think that, you know what, Lord, I'm in here, I'm in the thick of it. You call me out of this place. I talked about this last week. You call me out of Israel. Now I'm in the desert and I don't know what to do next. Just make sure that you remind yourself that no matter where you're at, God has his eye on you. God's waiting out. He's waiting out for you. God's paying attention to you. He's like, that's still my kid. That's my son. That's my daughter. So yes, it might feel like, Lord, and I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be real transparent and clear with it. There are times, I don't put myself in this category, where it's like, Lord, you told me to come here. Yeah. You called me out of this spot. You placed me here. And yet there's no movement. I feel stagnant. I feel just like, this isn't good here, but this isn't good there. I'm just kind of just floating around. What do you want me to do? Like, are we still good? Like, what happened? Like, are you still watching out for me? And the answer is very simple. It's yes. Yeah, because though you might be going through something, though you might be moving through something, though you might feel like I'm just floating around, God is still saying, I still have my eye on you. Estoy pendiente de ti. I'm still preoccupied in your well-being. I still care about how you're doing. Just understand that it might not look like it from the outside, but I'm over here from just top looking down like, hey, you're good. I got you. Keep going. I'm gonna start leaving thickets out. I'm gonna start making certain things easier for you. If you start to notice, if you were to take a step back and stop complaining, because I just tell myself, if you stop complaining like, oh Lord, but what about this? What about that? Take a step back. In the midst of all this, didn't you still find a position to move up? Didn't you still find your still kind of flow? Didn't you go and be able to pay that bill? Didn't you weren't you able to get that client, to get that job, to get that that promotion, whatever it might be? Isn't it weird that in that midst of you feel like you're like, Lord, what's going on next? Like, I'm just kind of floating here. Things keep on still happening. Just in the nick of time, bam, here goes that extra bonus. Bam, here's some extra hours. Oh man, here's that new client. Oh, that client built up on you. Here's another over here. And you just seem to just somehow maintain. Well, my pastor talks about this. It's that we can't rely on this income. Obviously, let me preface by let me break that down a little bit. Obviously, having a job is important. Don't be a bum. Do what you gotta do for sure. God will provide for you. By your job. Put the work in. The Bible says faith without works is dead. So get to work. Put some work in. Yeah. But if you feel, right, like you're just burning out of the position you're in, you're like, Lord, I know you've called me to great things, but this is my safety blanket. This is my job. This is where I'm at. And I know you've called me this way, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared. Like, do I take that next step? Because if I lose this, what's gonna help me get paid to that next job? If I lose this, legit source of income, what's gonna happen next? And God's saying, if you are relying on the source, you're not relying on me. Ooh, that's a word right there. Stop relying on this physical source and start relying on the eternal source. He is the ultimate fountain. That river might dry up, but that just means you're going to a bigger thing. That little channel might dry up. That means God wants you to go over to a bigger river, to a lake, to an ocean. He wants to rain down his blessings upon you in such a massive way, and you're worried about this little stream. Yeah, well, I feel like that's for someone right there. I know that's speaking to me right now. If you're worried about this little thing right here, oh wow, you know what, Lord? But like, if I can't do this, like, how am I gonna pay for that? Don't worry about that. I'm gonna take care of this. You just follow me. You just go where I need you to go, and I'm gonna provide the finances. I'm gonna provide the wisdom. I'm gonna provide the clarity. I'm gonna provide the peace. I'm gonna provide the strength to get you going. Yeah, the opportunities are there for you. You just gotta trust me. Let go of this so you can move on to that. Right? What's anchoring you down and that you're pulling along with you, that you're dragging along, that's slowing you down to that next progress, that's impeding your progress. Cut those things off. Yeah? Break those chains, cut those ropes, destroy those anchors, and move forward. Yeah? Hopefully it's one that got you motivated, it's one that just got you pumped up, because for me, it was really big. Because when you think about it, that God has his eye on you, that God is observing what you're doing, that God está pendiente de ti, that God is, he's considerate and he's understanding what you're at. And you're just understanding that it might be a little scary, but he still has his eye on you. He still has his hand in the midst of it, right? He has his hands in the midst of it. He's at the center of it all. It all just comes together. Yeah, he's that focal point. He's that foundation. He's that strong, firm foundation that when you just place your feet on him, it's not like rocky ground. It's not like sandiness. No. You have it on a solid, good base. You're just saying his word, and you know that if God's with you, who can be against you? Yeah? I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any talks. I'll see you next week. Get pumped up. Rewatch this if you have to rewatch this. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for me. I'm excited for your family. I'm excited for your jobs. I'm excited for everything. We're all just excited together. Yeah? Get after it. Stay creative. Stay strong and make it the best day ever. Love y'all.